students who work with work experience. Let's talk about them first. If you're a single student and you have a few years of work experience and you can approach Canadian permanent residence through several Canadian permanent residence pathways. We are going to focus on one of them, which is the AIPP, which I talked a little bit earlier. The AIPP is a very attractive program for students. Once you arrive in Canada, or even before you arrive here, please sign up with the Student Herald for a job search. And after you arrive here, you will find a job because of the interviews you attend. Most interviews are online these days. You can easily become a permanent resident even before you finish your first year of your course in some cases, if the employer wants, because you have the experience. The other option is to study in the Atlantic region, complete your course, and the Student Herald will assist students to obtain a job with a designated employer, which will qualify them for permanent residence immediately without work experience. Single students with work experience, before even you select your course, please watch the employer-driven program Immigration Chances and come for the free Q&A sessions conducted by a Canadian Authorized Representative so that you can understand how you can position yourself based on your experience to obtain permanent residence in Canada faster through the education pathway. We are now going to move to the next group of people, which is couples and their education approach for permanent residence. Married couples with or without work experience. We come across a lot of people who waited for Canadian permanent residence for a very long time, and they keep waiting and waiting. If you want a more definite pathway to permanent residence, then the education pathway is an excellent option where you can leverage your aspirations to study and improve yourself and also to settle in a new country with your family. For those who waited in the express entry pool for a long time, or for those who want to have a surer pathway to study and settle in Canada, then you are in the right place. We are talking about dual intent study and permanent residence if and when that happens. If you are a couple and you would like to strategize the education pathway, let me give you one example out of several available. The spouse who is less employable in Canada applies to become a student, selects a course in a Canadian college or university, and moves to Canada to study. The other non-student spouse then becomes eligible for an open work permit, which allows the non-student spouse to travel to Canada to work. Please sign up with the Student Herald, and in most cases, they will be able to place you in a job even before you reach Canada. Work with the employer in Canada and apply for permanent residence immediately, and on completion of 1 year of work experience with an approved employer or a designated employer in the Atlantic region, volunteers will then apply for permanent residence for the whole family, which could take about 6 to 7 months to process under the AIPP fast track processing. This is one strategy, but there are quite a few other strategies depending on your circumstances. There are several more strategies for permanent residence pathways which are highly relevant to married applicants with or without experience, which I typically talk about when we come to the Q&A sessions every Friday. I want to add some precautions. Always, when you come to Canada, study in a publicly funded institution, and always take at least a 2-year course so that you get a 3-year postgraduate work permit. In many cases, if you strategize well, you can become a Canadian permanent resident even before the 2-year course is completed. Faster you get permanent residence, Canadian permanent residence, faster you move from temporary to permanent, and therefore the faster you settle. Most students don't even look at permanent residence until the 2-year course is completed. Therefore, those who do could benefit from it. Here I'm going to give you a couple of examples for singles as well as for couples. Akil is a single student without work experience. He chose a 2-year diploma course from a community college in Halifax, Nova Scotia. He then obtained this 3-year work permit or stay back. Immediately after his course, he was placed by the Student Herald at a job with a designated employer. As soon as he got the job, Collinses represented his permanent residence application through the Aipp, Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. Akil obtained his permanent residence 8 months later, which means he became a Canadian permanent resident even before his first year work permit or stay there was completed. The faster you become Canadian permanent residents, the sooner you settle. Okay? I'm just going to talk about another example. Manjeet and Dilpreet. They are a couple. Okay? A couple from India. Dilpreet was a student at a college in Toronto. Manpreet was the spouse who decided to move to Canada. He got in touch with the Student Herald, an approved recruiter in Nova Scotia, and operates in all Atlantic provinces. The Student Herald found Mr. Manpreet a job even before he came to Canada to join his spouse. He, however, decided to take up the job in New Brunswick, away from his wife, so that the family will get their permanent residence soon and they can settle fast. Yes, they had some arrangement to meet regularly, but that is what he did. Within a year, Collinses applied for permanent residence. The couple will become permanent resident even before the spouse completes the course. Collinses would encourage our clients to study in the province where permanent residence chances are more, so that the couple can move together in Canada. Strategic approaches to Canadian permanent residency help a lot. But please do not think there is only one way to be strategic. There are several ways, and it is better to follow strategies based on your situation and not try to copy.